They are talking about you right now. And the worst part? The abuse is designed to destroy your reputation first before you ever know the attack has begun. This is a deeply challenging form of psychological warfare. We're talking about the smear campaign. If you've ever experienced this, you know just how isolating and confusing it can be. So today, our goal is to bring absolute clarity, to dissect the tactics, the psychology, and most importantly, the strategies for your defense. Let's get right into it.
This right here, this is the dark paradox at the very heart of the smear campaign. You see, this isn't some spontaneous argument or a conflict that just spirals out of control. No, this is a calculated, preemptive strategy. A manipulator weaponizes gossip with a very specific goal, to completely destroy your credibility before you can even think about mounting a defense. Think of it like this: they're poisoning the well. So by the time you realize what's happening and you go to your support system for help, they've already been convinced that the water is tainted. The real goal is to make sure you have absolutely no one left to believe you.
So to make sense of all this chaos, we've broken it down into 6 clear parts. We're going to start with the hidden nature of the attack, then move into the anatomy of a smear. After that, we'll unmask the 3-phase gossip game, explore the psychology of why it's so disturbingly effective, and then lay out a clear strategic defense plan for you. And finally, we'll talk about why your personal integrity is the real endgame. This structure is going to be our map, guiding us from just understanding the problem to empowering a real solution.
Okay, so let's start with the fundamental concept. A smear campaign is not a random social conflict. It's not a simple disagreement that just got out of hand. It is a deliberate, meticulously planned strategy of character assassination. And its primary power, its real poison, lies in that preemptive nature we just mentioned. The goal is to control the narrative, to define you in the eyes of others before you even have a chance to speak for yourself. This makes sure that any future defense you offer just looks like a guilty, defensive reaction.
You know, to dismantle any weapon, you first have to understand how it's built. So in this section, we're going to define the key terms of this specific brand of psychological warfare. Just giving these tactics a name is the very first step in taking away their power over you. I want you to notice that key word right there: deliberate. This is not accidental drama. A smear campaign is a planned effort. It works by using false or exaggerated information. And often it's these insidious lies mixed with just a tiny kernel of truth that makes them so believable. And the single goal? To completely destroy a person's reputation. Psychologically, this is recognized as a severe form of emotional abuse, and it's considered a hallmark of malignant narcissism and other antisocial personality traits. So you have to ask yourself, why? Why would someone do this? Well, the motivation usually boils down to 4 key drivers. First, narcissistic vengeance. This is payback for some perceived slight, or, more often, for the target trying to leave a relationship or hold the abuser accountable. Second is coercive control. It's a way to manipulate and dominate not just you, but the entire social environment. Third, and this is absolutely critical, is an absolute avoidance of shame. The abuser just cannot face their own flaws, so they project them onto you. And finally, they want to rewrite history. By painting you as the aggressor or the unstable one, they get to play the part of the long-suffering victim.
A primary tool in their arsenal is a tactic called DARVO. This acronym breaks down the process perfectly. When they're confronted with their own behavior, the abuser will first deny that the abuse ever happened. Then, they attack the person who's confronting them for even bringing it up. And finally, in this stunning act of psychological jiu-jitsu, they reverse the roles of victim and offender, claiming that they are the one being abused. This is how they flip the script, leaving the actual victim confused, discredited, and always on the defensive.
All right, now that we've defined the terms, we can pull back the curtain on the abuser's playbook. Because this isn't random, it's a systematic 3-phase attack. And understanding this pattern, really seeing the mechanics in action, that is the key to breaking free from its influence. So here it is, the playbook. Step 1 is the preemptive strike. Long before any open conflict, the abuser is secretly planting seeds of doubt about your stability with mutual friends, family, even colleagues. Step 2 is triangulation and recruitment. They mobilize these unwitting allies, who are often called flying monkeys, to spread the false narrative for them, creating this echo chamber of lies. And then step 3, the real masterstroke, is the reaction trap. They set up a situation to provoke an emotional response from you, and then they use that very response as the ultimate proof that their original lies about you were true all along. Now, notice how that preemptive strike is so often delivered. It's rarely a direct, verifiable accusation, right? Instead, it's cloaked in this fake concern, like this quote, "I'm just so worried about them." This phrasing is deeply strategic. It lets the gossiper harm your reputation while making themselves look compassionate and caring. It shields them from any social penalty for spreading rumors. It's a devastatingly effective and frankly insidious way to plant a negative idea in someone's mind under the guise of friendship.
And this leads us right to the flying monkey phenomenon, a term that comes from The Wizard of Oz. These are the unwitting pawns, friends, family, even professionals who are manipulated by the abuser into joining the smear. The thing is, they don't realize they're being used. They genuinely believe the abuser's victim story, and trying to be helpful or loyal, they spread the lies, they report back to the abuser, and they enforce your isolation. For the person being targeted, this is one of the most painful parts, this profound sense of betrayal from people you thought you could trust for reasons you can't even begin to understand.
And this all leads to the final brutal twist, the reaction trap. I mean, just imagine for a moment being isolated, betrayed by your friends, and systematically slandered. Of course you'd be upset, angry, maybe even frantic. It's a perfectly justified emotional reaction to severe abuse. But the manipulator has been waiting for this. They point to your distress and they say to everyone, "See, look how unstable they are. I told you they were aggressive." Your character is destroyed not just by the initial lie, but by your completely rational human response to being lied about. It's a vicious, self-validating loop designed to make you look like the perpetrator.
So that's the how. But why is this tactic so dangerously effective? Now we're going to dig into the underlying psychology, looking at both why the abuser launches the attack in the first place and, just as importantly, why other people in your social circle are so quick to believe it.
You can really see the two sides of a psychological coin here. For the abuser, it's all about ego protection. They are terrified of what psychologists call a narcissistic injury, any event that threatens their fragile sense of superiority or exposes their flaws. To avoid this, they project their own toxic traits onto you. And in the process, they get what's called narcissistic supply, from all the sympathy and attention they get from others. Now, on the other side, the network, your friends, your community, they aren't necessarily malicious. Their motivation is rooted in the social psychology of how we form reputations. We are all wired to use gossip for social vetting, to figure out who's trustworthy and who isn't. So when a story is presented with that fake credibility and false concern, people are just prone to believe it. Seeing you in a justifiably defensive posture can then visually confirm that false story, creating this profound confusion for everyone. Okay, so we've analyzed the attack in a lot of detail. Now, let's pivot from that analysis to empowerment. Because knowing the playbook is one thing, having a counter strategy is something else entirely. This section is all about a clear, actionable plan for your defense, and most importantly, for your own self-preservation. Your defense really rests on three powerful strategic pillars. First, strategic documentation. Meticulously record every single incident, every false claim, every harassing message with dates, times, and screenshots. Keep a private, secure log. This isn't for you to use in an argument tomorrow, it's for potential future legal needs and to create a factual record that serves as an anchor against their fiction. Second, and I know this is the hardest, but most crucial step, is absolute non-engagement. Do not retaliate, do not argue, and do not get drawn into defending yourself to the abuser's allies. We'll explain why that's so critical in just a moment. And third, focus on your core network. Stop wasting your precious emotional energy on the flying monkeys or trying to convince people who have already bought the lie. Instead, invest it only in the trusted allies who have shown you unwavering support and who believe in your character.
Let's talk more about the power of non-engagement, because it feels completely counterintuitive, right? Your every instinct is to shout from the rooftops, to defend your name, to correct the lies. But you have to remember the reaction trap. Arguing gives the abuser exactly what they crave, an emotional reaction. This is their narcissistic supply. It validates them. And it also gives them more material to twist and use against you. Strategic silence, on the other hand, does the exact opposite. It starves their false narrative of the oxygen it needs to burn. By refusing to add fuel to the fire, you are refusing to play their game.
So what does non-engagement actually look like in practice? Well, if a flying monkey confronts you with a false accusation, you don't have to ignore them, but you absolutely must not engage in the drama. You use what's called limited factual communication. This phrase on the screen is a perfect example. That narrative is untrue. I am focused on moving forward. It's concise, it's emotionless. It calmly denies the lie without getting into all the messy details, and it signals that the conversation is over. It shuts down the inquiry without providing any fuel for the fire.
And that brings us to our final section, You have to understand the goal here is not to win a fight with a manipulator. That's a game you can't win on their terms because the roles are always changing. The real goal is to reframe the end game entirely. True victory lies in preserving your own character and your own integrity.
So let's bring this all together. The first thing you have to remember is that the smear campaign is, at its core, a preemptive gossip game. It is not a fair fight. It's meticulously designed from the very start to destroy your reputation and your support system before you ever get a chance to tell your side of the story. This whole vicious cycle is built on a feedback loop. Those preemptive strikes, the recruitment of flying monkeys, it's all engineered for one single purpose: to provoke you, to force you into a reaction that they can then hold up to the world as the irrefutable proof that their original, insidious lie about you was true all along.
But here's the empowering part. Awareness breaks this loop. Once you understand the playbook, once you can see the preemptive strike, the flying monkeys, and the reaction trap for what they are, the manipulator's control over you begins to dissolve. Knowledge of the game is the first and most critical step to freedom.
And this is where we find our ultimate defense. By relying on strategic documentation, and more importantly, by practicing that difficult discipline of absolute non-engagement, you do something profound. You protect your integrity. You refuse to play their game or sink to their level. And over time, without your emotional reaction to sustain it, the abuser's malicious narrative will start to collapse under the weight of its own lies. The truth has a way of catching up, but only if you refuse to give the lie power.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. The attack on your reputation is never, ever a reflection of your character. It is a clinical symptom of their inability to handle accountability. The question isn't how you win their game, but how you will reclaim your own narrative, your own peace, and your own life by courageously refusing to play it at all.